why would, what would a Robert Hooks sex tape even look like? I mean, if it's anything like what the rest of his life has been like lately, it's going to be exactly what you would expect. Me alone and fully clothed. But that's not entirely my fault. I can't take all the blame for that. I mean, there is this worldwide something going on, what they call this worldwide sickness. And, I'm not the best looking guy in the world. I have to use my words. You try going up to somebody you don't know with one of these on and just, like, hello? Well, they don't like it. I don't either. They could be nicer. They could be a little nicer about it. But, between that and the job thing and that embarrassing misunderstanding about the space aliens, and of course the incident, well, let's just say the topic of sex and sex tapes is something I'm going to have to do from distant, if not displeasing, memory. What got me on the topic, though, is I was watching the Netflix series House of Cards, where the diabolical politician Frank Underwood quotes, I believe, Oscar Wilde when he said that everything is about sex except sex. That's about power. And he says it looking right into the camera, and it's very dramatic. And I just kind of was taken aback, and I thought, is that true? Is the biological imperative to reproduce so omnipresent that everything that we do is somehow connected to sex? And is sex really about power? I really did think about it. And I called several of my friends that I was comfortable broaching the subject with. And I received some similar views, but I also received a lot of different views on it. And it really made me wonder about this topic of how sex plays a role in our lives. So I looked at it, and it seems to me that what you find is that there are two antecedents to sex, two antecedents that drive that biological imperative. The first is passion. Now, passion is primal. Passion is neither good nor bad. It's objective. It does not require thought. It only requires the senses. It is intense. Passion burns quickly, and it burns out. On the other side of that is romance. Romance is sort of a civilized culture's way of getting to passion in something other than just the raw senses. Now, whereas passion is simply a fact and therefore is not called or thought of as good or bad, romance can, because romance requires thought. It requires words and deeds, and it can be a dangerous seduction, not just a sweet romance. If I'm looking down because I wrote down a few ideas so I wouldn't hem and haw too much through this video. But for me, I think of passion as that part of the human instinct that is still fully animal. That part of the human, not the human in the garden. This is the human before the garden, before the human evolves into humanity. And passion is what the civilized human has used to tame passion, not eliminate it. No one would want to eliminate it, but to tame it and to wrestle it. And I think of it as sort of Rousseau and Hobbes a little bit, because Rousseau is, to me, he is that passion and that belief in the individual and that person close to nature. And Hobbes is more sort of the exponent of romance in the sense that he recognizes the danger of passion. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Rob, you think Thomas Hobbes is romantic? That is why your sex tape has you alone and fully dressed. Now, I don't think Thomas Hobbes and Leviathan in particular are romantic. I think that they are the the argument for the need for romance, and that is to say the need for civilization to tame the natural urges of humanity. Now, there have been humans on this planet in various forms for many hundreds of thousands of years. What finally allowed humankind to develop from hunter-gatherers who, as Will Durant, the great historian and writer, would say, lived a life where they would eat to the cubic capacity of their stomach and then fall asleep, to builders of cities and empires. Well, that is the great conflict, I think, that we're facing today. That there is a conflict between that part of us that is natural, that part of us that feels, doesn't know, but it feels like something's not right. And that part of our mind that is trying to wrestle with sometimes sciences that most of us are not trained for, and ideas most of us don't really know how to fact check. And so when that Rousseau and Thomas Hobbes conflict, it had a powerful, almost Hegelian group come together to work out the differences between them, and their great exponents being John Locke and Thomas Jefferson. But nobody is trusting that anymore. When somebody feels something is wrong, they're not trusting the social contract anymore. Look at how we talk to our friends on social media. Look at how people treat each other that on the street that they don't know. There is such a hostility in this country today, and I really believe it is because, in part, that the social contract of man, the great achievement of civilization, which Will Durant defined as social order promoting cultural creation, is not believed in or trusted by many people in our country today. They're looking for something else, and you can't blame them. Look at the absurdity of the churches. You can't get a pastor to tell the truth in a church anymore. 100% of pastors on television, 100% of them that have any kind of YouTube presence, are all talking to people who want them to say exactly what they are saying. The idea that we have an Isaiah or a Jeremiah or a John the Baptist out there somewhere is not to be seen. And look at our politicians. We pretend to love certain ones of them, even when we know that we don't have a clue what they're really doing. And we instantly despise anything anybody else does. And I really believe that what is breaking down is not what is referred to as the fabric of society. But I think that right now there is not a discussion or a willingness to seek to understand that part of the human mind that is in conflict with our civilization itself. That is to say, that part of us that wants to feel, that wants to express passion, that wants fierce Rousseauian independence, with that part of us that wants a stable society, a unified people, a strong government, meaning to say a powerful country. It's a weird time. And I believe that there is a need now for what many people think a long extinct group of folk called philosophers. Now, if you are a philosopher and you want in on this, please don't call yourself a philosopher. Nobody will listen to you. But we need a new John Locke, and we desperately need a new Thomas Jefferson, a group of people who can help reconcile an American people whose mind and hearts seem right now to be suffering irreconcilable differences. Thank you. What I'd like for you to do is, I know I said thank you, and you probably thought, well, he was about to end that video, But I was thinking I should pass the plate, and I realized I'm not in church. So what I'd like for you to do, if you would not mind, down in the comments below, tell me what you think about this. Am I completely off? Am I an idiot? Uh, am I going in the right direction but worded it poorly? Tell me your thoughts. I'd really like to hear them. And however you're watching this, if you would like and subscribe or click whatever button is down there, depending on what platform you're seeing it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.